Hey everybody, this is Jeremiah at Reed Racing. We are back for another video. In the last video you saw us start taking the motor apart. In this video we're going to take the lifters out, take the push rods out, take the heads off. I'm going to go kind of in detail a little bit while I do this of some of the things that I've learned over the year. And then in the next video we'll basically have it down to a short block. Brandon's going to come in and help finish taking that apart, so make sure you guys don't miss that. Hopefully I'll have that out later this week. This video was supposed to be out last weekend, got busy. As you guys can see, the car is not in the garage right now. Or actually, I've got it over at a friend's house. He's got a brake and stuff, and so having him help me put it, he's doing most of it, but having him help me put a body on the car. So the next time you guys see it, it'll be back in here with a body on it. And then as soon as we get the body on it, I can get the wrap ordered. We got it all figured out. We just need the dimensions. And then shortly after that, we'll be putting a wrap on it. And then we'll be pretty close to race ready at that point. So make sure you follow along for those videos. Make sure if you guys enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to follow along, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. With that being said, let's get started. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to loosen up these rocker arms. And then we're going to pull each of the push rods out. We're going to put them in these holes that I made in this piece of cardboard, because we want to put them back in the exact same spot we took them out of. We're going to put the new motor together, because we're also going to do that with the lifters, which are down here. Basically, as I take them out, I'm going to put them in this box. The I is for intake, the E is for exhaust. Then I got them numbered 1, 3, 5, 7. So this is going to be 1 intake, 1 exhaust, 3 intake, 3 exhaust. And so I got enough for all 8 here. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to loosen these up, pull out the push rods, and then pull out the lifters and put them in the box. So these are a 5/8 or a 16. So all I did was drill these out with a 1/4 inch drill bit. The push rods are a little bigger, but I don't want the holes so big that they just fall through. I want to make sure they're stuck in there. So some of these are going to be a little hard to get on because of the position that they're in. So there we go. So normally I would have, when I drained the water and stuff out, I would have backed these off so that the springs weren't being compressed all winter long, but I needed to rebuild these anyway and put new springs on them, so that's why I didn't do it. Now we're gonna pull the lifters out on this side since I got the push rods out. Now how the cylinders are numbered is, if you're looking at the car, the driver's side is gonna be odd numbers, passenger side is gonna be even numbers, or you can look at it by which head's farther forward. This head's farther forward, so that one starts 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I have this box 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8. So this box is kind of backwards, but so this is going to be number 8. And how you can tell which side is intake and which side is exhaust is, like, these are your intake ports. These are coolant jackets. That's a little rusty color, is because there's water going through there. So these are your intake ports. These are your exhaust ports. So all you have to do is look at the head and be able to tell which ones go where. So your exhaust is going to be the back one. Your intake is going to be the front one, because your exhaust is behind your intake. If you had the head off, you could also tell because of the size of the valves. The intake valve is always bigger. So this one here is pushed up. We're going to pull that one out first. You should slide out pretty nicely. So that one's number 8, intake. So that one's going to go down here. You should just be able to kind of put a little, take your finger, put a little pressure on the side of it and pull it right up. If you can't, you probably need to bore those holes out a little bit. So that one's number 8 exhaust. I got that one in the wrong hole. That one's 8 intake, that one's 8 exhaust. This is going to be number 6 intake, because on this one the intake is farther back than the exhaust. So 6 intake right there. This one's going to be 6 exhaust. Four exhaust. 4 intake. 2 intake. 2 exhaust. So your intake and exhaust valves are always going to be close together too. So your first one's going to be exhaust, intake, intake, exhaust, exhaust, intake, intake, exhaust. So other than the ends, you can also go out from the middle. So you start with 2 exhausts in the middle, intakes, intakes, exhaust, exhaust. So we got that side done. We're going to go ahead and take the other side off. We got to take this splash shield off first, which are the same size nuts and stuff. So all we got to do is pull that off. So now there's 2 different things that can hold these rocker arms on. Like on this side, you can see a little better. It's just basically a lock nut. That's basically what I just took off here. And these are tighter at the top so that they don't back themselves off. It's essentially just a lock nut. It's just a different style. So we got those holding on. Now, the reason I had to go with those on most of them is because the studs were too long on a lot of these. So I couldn't use the poly locks. And on these poly locks, essentially what it is they're made so you can adjust them really quick. Whereas these, they're a little harder to adjust. They kind of just lock themselves into position. Both will back off. I feel like the lock nuts hold on a little longer before you have to reset your lash. Now on a hydraulic cam, you shouldn't have to reset it very often. Basically just when you're changing stuff. But the solid ones, you want to reset them every so often because they'll work their way loose because you have that lash. On the hydraulic, you put a preload on them. So, but I'll get to that when I'm putting the motors together. So on these poly locks, basically you have an Allen head here, and then the same 5/8 or a 16 millimeter nut here. So basically you're gonna turn this until you get the right lash, and then you're gonna tighten that down until it's tight to lock it in, and that sets your lash. It's a lot faster to reset your valve lash with this poly lock style over this, but sometimes you can't always use those because, like I said, once I got those on there, I didn't have enough thread left on the poly locks to actually get these tightened down without holding on by like 1 or 2 threads. So I loosen that one, keep loosening it. There we go. Those are also a lot easier to get your socket on, whereas I've had to hammer it on all the other ones. So I'm going to loosen this one up too. And these are the EDM lifters, so they got, you really can't see it. There's a little tiny hole right in the middle, lets a little bit of oil through. Increases the price of them a lot for that little tiny hole, but anything helps. So now we can take the heads off. There's 8 bolts across the bottom, 5 across this middle row, and then 1 in between each of these for 4. So you got a total of 17 bolts to take out on each side. We're going to do that in reverse torque sequence. Basically the torque sequence, you just go in a circle starting in the middle and you go out. So reverse, I'm just going to start on the outside and kind of keep taking them off closer and closer to the center. So then once you get all those bolts loose, basically just pull it right off like that. It does have some pins on the bottom that it'll sit on, so might catch on those sometimes. So now we're gonna take this side off, same thing. Now realistically, a lot of people say you should untorque these the same way that you torque them. I've always just pulled them off, never had an issue, so. This is what I was talking about. Sometimes they get stuck on those alignment pins. You just gotta keep wiggling them until they come off. There, that side's loose. Let's see if we can just, there we go. Gasket stuck to the head that time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. In the next video, we're gonna finish taking the motor apart completely. Brandon's gonna help with that. And hopefully that one will be out later this week. And then I'll do a schedule video coming up soon as well. So make sure to hit the subscribe button down below so you can follow along for those. And then we got racing coming up hopefully here pretty shortly. Depends on what they decide with the coronavirus or whatever. I know a lot of tracks have already been canceling stuff. So the reason I haven't been up to date posting and stuff like that is just I've been trying to get the car done in case we do get to race here in a few weeks. So the car's pretty close to being done now. Hopefully I'll be able to get out a couple videos a week instead of just one a week like I've done the last few weeks. But as always, make sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram. Check out our partner links down below. We had a new partner sign on with us this last week. Daniel Tire Company out of Fort Dodge, Iowa. They're going to help us out this season. So make sure to check out their link. Make sure to check out their Facebook page. Give them a like. And if you're in the area and you need some tires, make sure to check them out. And with that, we'll see you guys in the next video where Brianna helps us take the motor apart. Make sure to check it out.